Hi friends, and welcome to Coffee Chats with Miss Liz, and I am your host, Miss Liz. This is a podcast where we talk about faith, family, homeschooling, staying at home with a ton of kids, and maybe just a splash of coffee. This is like, sitting down across the table from your friend that you haven't seen in a while and sharing a cup of coffee and just talking about everyday life. This is crazy. It's like kids running around constantly and just pure chaos. So if you are ready to sit down and have a chat with me, grab your coffee and let's go. Hi guys, and welcome back to Coffee Chats with Miss Liz. And of course, I'm Miss Liz. So I just wanted to start off the podcast with a quick little update. So I dropped my phone in the toilet. It stopped working. Had to wait 4 days to get a new one. I was trying to record an episode on my out-of-date Samsung Galaxy tablet, and when I plugged my microphone into it, it broke my microphone jack. Yeah, I don't even know how that happened. Honestly, it was a cheap, crappy microphone, so I'm back to recording without a microphone, which is fine. I will get another one eventually, but so that's where we're at right now, is the great phone debacle of 2026 and the broken mic of 2026. So, but back to regular broadcasting. I said that I was going to start talking about, the classroom and things that are going on in there. So I'm just going to start off with the classroom pets, because that's a big thing in our classroom right now. So I'll just start off at the beginning. Let's see. It was right around, I want to say May 1st. I think it was May 1st. I started looking into getting caterpillars for our classroom. Every year we've gotten caterpillars. Just pink lady caterpillars. Nothing fancy or anything like that. But I usually get them from Insect Lore. And this year I decided that I was going to try somebody new. I never had any issues with Insect Lore, so why break something why fix something that's not broken, right? Well, oh well. So I went to a new company. I looked at a couple of different companies. Well, this one that I found, it was called Nature's Gift Store, I think, or Gift Shop, one of those. And I was looking, and I was oh, they have a lot of cool stuff, They had all of the butterflies that I needed. So I was okay, definitely, that's good. And then the kids were talking about ants a lot, and I said, they have an ant farm. Let's try that out. That would be really cool. So we got a little ant farm, and then I was looking at the other stuff that they had, and they had a worm farm, and the kids had been digging for worms lately because, it was May and it just rained a lot, and we were finding lots of worms. So we started learning about worms, so we got a worm farm too. And I was just looking at everything. They had tadpoles, they had dwarf frogs, they had hermit crabs. So I got 2 little tadpoles, and 2 little hermit crabs, and they sent them our way, and I was okay, here we go, so we get all of our stuff, right? We get our butterflies, or our caterpillars, we got our caterpillars, and we set them all up. We had so many caterpillars. I think we had probably 30 30 caterpillars, I think, and probably 25 hatched, or like not hatched, but transformed, metamorphosed into a butterfly, right? And we let them go. We ended up taking the whole thing, the whole butterfly habitat, out into the greenhouse. And then I just opened it, and as they were coming out of their cocoons, they would just like come out, and then they would go into the greenhouse, and then we would come out every day and check on them, and we would let the ones go that were out of the butterfly or the caterpillar habitat. So we started working on the ants, right? Where the ants just were not doing well. You need to go that way. Thank you. So anyways, we got the ants. It said to put the ants in okay, so back it up again, right? I got the gel ant farm, the blue gel ant farm. Okay. I know nothing about this. This is first time. I thought it would come with a lot of instructions. It didn't really, which is whatever. I tried looking into it. Nothing was really making much sense, but we tried. I put the ants in the fridge for not very long. Maybe like, I don't know, tops 3 minutes, right? And they all like got real lethargic and kind of went to sleep. And I got the whole habitat set up. I poked a bunch of holes in the gel. I planted some grass seeds in it. I sprinkled some grass seed up top. Like, we tried to do everything that it was saying to do. And I had like little rocks that we put in there too. And then I took the caterpillars out, or the ants out, and I put them in the habitat. And nothing was really happening. Like, I waited and waited. I don't know. They just weren't doing so good. Like, it was just not a good setup, I don't think. We were hoping to see more. They never dug tunnels. They never did anything. It was just actually like really sad. And almost all of them just like, I don't know, ended up dying. Like, it was just so sad. So I had emailed them and I asked, like, is this normal? Because I've never even seen ants in gel before. And they were like, yeah, it's fine. The gel's the food and everything. They really seemed like they were like dehydrated and thirsty. So I like even put a couple drops of water in there and they all ran to it. I tried like opening the lid to see if they needed some air, and they would all freak out and run around like they were getting some fresh oxygen. I don't know. So anyways, they were like, yeah, it's fine. And I said, well, it's not fine. They all died. And, so what can we do here? Can I just have a refund? And they said, no, but we can send you a new batch of, ants. I'm like, okay, here we go again. But this time I decided to take all the gel out, and I had the kids go out in the yard and dig up a bunch of dirt, and we put the dirt in the cleaned out habitat. Yeah, so anyways, we put the dirt that the kids dug up into the habitat, and then we put the ants in there, and once again, they weren't doing anything, and I was really freaked out. I was like, this is me, right? Like, this is something I'm doing wrong. So I decided to just take a minute. I put the habitat like outside in the nice sunny area so that it would get nice and warm, and it did. It started like condensating and everything, and the ants just went nuts. They woke up, they were running around, they were starting to dig holes. I mean, they dug tunnels all over in this dirt. Like, it was the best day of their lives. I was like giving them like honey every once in a while. What else? Like, they had like ant food, I think. Is that what I was? Yeah. I had like ant food for them and ant treats, but I left them out on the porch and a raccoon came up and ate it. Yeah. Or maybe it was a bird. I don't know. Either one. Something ate it because the package was tore to bits and none of the food was left. And I was like, great. So I had to start giving them other things. I tried giving them like mealworms, but they weren't super into it. And I tried doing like honey. They loved the honey. They were all about the honey. I did things like strawberries and I don't know, like a bunch of other stuff. And they lived for a little while. I think they all finally died in June, like middle of June. So I think we only had them for like a month before they died. But, you know, it is what it is. I said, I'm not even going to get back with them because this is clearly a me thing. So I was just like, we're done. I'm not doing ants anymore. So no more ants. But we have the worm farm, and the worm farm is cool. The kids love the worm farm. We get to see like big clumps of worms in there. The worms are still living. It's been months now. Like, we got them in May, June, July. So we've had them for 2 months now. And it's been, I mean, they're pretty boring. They only like to really move around when it's completely dark and then you can't see anything, right? So, oh well, they're fine. The tadpoles, though. Oh, the tadpoles. That's a whole nother story, right? Like, with the tadpoles. So starting from the beginning, we had 2 tadpoles in the little container that they gave us. It was like, gosh, maybe a half-gallon little tank with a lid. And I was putting like primed water in there for them. I put 2 little tadpoles in there and I'd feed them every other day and clean out their tank every other day. And the kids got to watch them grow, which was so cool. The first little tadpole turned into a froglet, and it didn't even last overnight. It was the saddest thing that I have ever encountered, which is like ridiculous. But we were so happy. We were watching this froglet with its front legs and back legs, and it was like climbing up on all the rocks and then just doing like frog stuff. You know, it still had its long tail. And I had it in a new container. So this time, once I realized that, you know, he was turning into a frog, I decided to move them into a tank. And this tank was like I think like a 2.5 gallon tank. And I put a little rock climbing fixture in there. And I filled it up with some water. There was probably like 3 inches of water in the tank, and the frog just kind of stayed up on top of the rocks. So I was like, this is good. Now the tadpole has plenty of room to run around. The frog is up on top, and that's fine. Well, later on, I came down to check on it to make sure that it was okay, like right before bed, right? So this was probably like 6 hours after we realized that it turned into a frog. We came downstairs and I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh my gosh, did it jump out? Like, it couldn't have because I got the lid on it, you know? So I'm looking all over and I finally see in the back, oh my God, that it's floating upside down. And I was like, oh no. So I like scooped it up and I put it in on the rock fixture. The rock fixture was like a feeding rock. So it had like a slight gradual rock ramp that went up to a very shallow dish on top. And then underneath it was like a cave. And so I put him in the little dish. It had nothing in it, no food, no water or anything. It just was a little dish. And its little fingers rested on its little bloated belly. And I was like, oh, God. I was so upset. I had to go get my husband. He had to dispose of it because I couldn't even look at it. I felt so sad and so bad. I was like, I will never buy another frog again. And I was just a wreck. Well, then I just decided to really dig deep and take care of the second tadpole, because the kids all were all so sad. They were like, so I moved the tadpole out, the second tadpole. I moved it out of the fixture, the tank. I cleaned it all out. I got rid of the rock formation. We had gone outside and picked up a bunch of rocks out of the yard, and I rinsed them off really good. And then we got like an old lunch meat container that we, used all the lunch meat out of. And I filled that with about like an inch of water, maybe an inch and a half of water. And I put that in the tank. And then I put rocks in there so that it could climb out. And then I filled the rest of the tank up with dirt and moss so that, it could move around. And eventually it grew its legs and it climbed out, and it never went back in the water again. I took that thing out and its tail shrunk up, and we started feeding it. We were feeding it fruit flies and like the wingless fruit flies, and it was doing so good. It's still doing so good, so I don't want to come off as it's not. But yeah, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so we went down to the pet store, got it all of these like little plants to put in its enclosure so it can climb up on some leaves and hide when it wants to. And the kids just love watching it and trying to see if they can find it, because it really blends in well with the trees and the plants, which is so funny. And they love watching it eat. It like jumps at its food. It's so fun. Yeah, but we went through all the fruit flies, and now I can't find anybody who has fruit flies anymore around here. So we bought some of these like Dubai cockroaches, and he's not really into them. I think they're too fast for him. I don't know. Maybe they're too big. I don't know. So I don't know what to do about that, but we will see. And then the hermit crabs. So the hermit crabs were clearly an impulse buy. I knew nothing about them. I again thought that it was going to come with a pamphlet or something on how to take care of them. It did not. It did not at all. The things that it said in there were things that were wrong, like that I had to give my hermit crabs a bath like every 2 days. And I was like, okay, and it said not to give it like deep water at all or it will drown. It said to like only give it enough water that would go up to like a quarter to half their shell. And I was like, that's not very much, because these are very small. And it said to feed it, the hermit crab food that it came with. And I was like, all right, that was wrong. Everything was wrong. So, but anyways, I didn't know that, right? So I was just doing that, and I had set it all up in a small tank, and they were doing fine, but it was clearly cramped. And I had posted a video of me upgrading it from the small tank to a little bit bigger sized one, and everybody blew me up. Oh my stars. I was reprimanded like you wouldn't believe. So I ended up doing a bunch of research, and I ended up going and getting a 20-gallon long tank, which is still probably not what I want. So, but whatever. So I got that, and I started to fill it with the hermit crabs sand from the store. And people were like, that's not good for them. You're going to kill them, like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, God, I can't handle any more death from these classroom pets. So I did what they said. They said to go get play sand. I went and got play sand from Lowe's, filled it up 6 inches and mixed it up with some eco earth, and the internet was happy again. But don't you worry. They were like, you're not feeding it that hermit crab food, are you? That's not good for them, blah, blah, blah. Then they started sending me all these people who take care of hermit crabs and what they feed them and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, gosh, this is just a classroom pet. I was not expecting this at all. At all. Like, I didn't even have a heater on on the crab's enclosure at first at all. And then, yeah, so I went and got some heaters and hooked a heater up, and I had to get a new lid because the lid that I bought had holes all over the top of it. So I had to wrap the lid in plastic wrap just to get the humidity at a right level, because these hermit crabs have modified gills, so they literally need the air to be wet to breathe. And I'm just like, I had no idea about these crabs. People just sell them, so I was like, they have to be easy. I mean, they sell them in these little pop-up shops on the beach all the time, and oh boy, that got me in trouble too, right? Like, everybody's like, that's not good. They're not living in good environment. And they're not. They're like in a small cage that's like all mesh or whatever, like it's like a cage, and there's no humidity control. Like, the air half the time is like 60 degrees. They're not getting like hiding spots while they're in there. They can't burrow like they normally do. They can't dig tunnels, and I don't know. It's just sad. It's sad. Like, why do we even have to catch these crabs and keep them as pets? I don't know. So now I'm just like, I'm not interested. I'm going to keep these crabs, but I won't be getting any more, obviously, unless like somebody that I knew had a hermit crab that they didn't know how to take care of and asked me if I would take it. Then I would take it, but like, no. But also, like, the 20-gallon tank isn't really what I wanted, so I got on Marketplace and I got a 40-gallon tank. We just haven't been able to set it up yet, but I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be good. Yeah. So that's the deal on the hermit crabs. That's the deal on the classroom pets. We don't get to see any of our classroom pets because hermit crabs are nocturnal. And I'm like, oh, great. So sometimes, like, if it's been a couple days since we've seen it, I'll like lift the log up and I'll let the kids like look down there and see if they can see where the hermit crab is. And usually they can, because it's just kind of hanging out in this little like hole that it dug under the log. And then the other one is actually molting and it still hasn't come up. And I'm hoping that it comes up soon. I'm really worried about it. But yeah, so I spent way too much money on these crabs. I buy like all the crabs food on like Etsy, or like it's fresh food. They like hard-boiled eggs and fruit. They didn't really like the river shrimp that I put out. What else do they like to eat? Like cuddle bones from the pet store for birds. Like, I just mashed those up and put the powder in their little food dish. They love chia seeds. So I planted some chia seeds in there in like a little dish for them. And I also put chia seeds in like this little feeding dish for them because they just like to eat it. And what else? They love almonds. Like, I actually saw one of them carry the almond off and hide with it. And I was like, okay. But yeah, so I don't know. That's the story. And the kids are always like, where's the frog? Where's the hermit crab? Why don't we ever see them? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I do not know. I just do not know. But one thing that we did do that is kind of cool is that we have a classroom garden outside, and that really thrived. We got to eat some homegrown carrots the other day with the leaves still on the end, and the kids just love that. We got to eat some tomatoes. We have some butterfly plants that attract butterflies. We also have some hummingbird flowers, and all of the hummingbirds come and visit our flowers. We did have a hummingbird feeder, but it broke and it was dripping sugar water everywhere, so I just got rid of it. I can never find a good one. This was like a glass jar with the plastic red bottom on it, and it broke, which was just so sad. But we also have grape plants that are really thriving right now. They're growing up nice and tall. I have to get some like wire to help train them where I want them to go. But yeah, that's like the gist on I guess the extracurricular activities we have going on for the classroom, like the garden and the pets, and the kids just love all of it. They love coming over and checking all of the plants to see if they're growing. We had some radishes that we already got to harvest, and the kids loved those. We're waiting for the zucchinis to grow and the cucumbers to grow. I had grown them in the greenhouse and then transplanted them, so they're just taking a little while, that's all. But the kids love to pick the carrots because they just get to grab it and pull it right out, and it's so much fun. So even though I got all of these classroom pets without really knowing what I'm doing, I am so grateful for the people on the internet, I guess. I had so many people come message on my videos with just so much kindness. I had some people who weren't as kind, but so many people were so kind about it. They were like, hey, just so you know, that's not the right way. If you want help, I'll help you, right? Like, I'll let you know what you need. Or they sent me like links to other people to follow them, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, I really expected people to be like really nasty about it, and they weren't, and that was so nice. So I'm just going to end this in a short prayer, just thanking God and telling you how amazing He is. So, dear Heavenly Father, I just come to you thanking you for the wonderful people that have helped me with my Crabitat, which is what it's called. Thank you for, thank you for sending them so that I didn't give up on these crabbies and I didn't let them live a life that was less than perfect, right? Like, you're just so good, God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I just want to take a moment to thank you guys so much for listening. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for all of you guys, even though it's probably just a couple of my friends listening to this, but it means so much. I love talking about my classroom, my family, my faith. I love it all. It means so much to me. So thank you. And if you have it in your heart, please share this with your friends, share it online, give us a like and a rate. That would be great. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time on Coffee Chats with Ms. Liz. Bye.